Why every city needs a Michael Young.
So, I want to talk about why every city needs a Michael Young. His headstone that you can see describes him as a visionary and an innovator, but that doesn't come close to doing him justice and to describing his legacy. Sadly, these days, you may know him best as being the father of celebrity bellend and right-wing snowflake Toby Young, immortalised here in this picture by my mate Sean in something approaching his true form. But no, there's so much more to Michael than just his son. He was the 20th century's ultimate cultural catalyst. When he was just 29 years old, he wrote the Labour Party's 1945 manifesto, brought in the welfare state, the NHS, and the whole post-war settlements. 10 years later, in the 50s, he wrote this book. He invented the term meritocracy and predicted that if things carried on as they were, one day there'd be a huge revolt where people would rise up against the metropolitan elite and do untold damage to the world. A few years later, he then decided that the future would be on the side of the consumers rather than producers. So he set up Which Magazine and the Consumers Association, and he lobbied for lower prices on all sorts of electrical goods and consumer goods. By the time he was 50, you'd think that he'd be able to rest on his laurels. But no, he goes on to help set up over 40 new organisations, and you can see some there: Open University, School for Social Entrepreneurs. But I hear you. You want to know why every city needs a Michael Young. You want to know what on earth I'm wittering on about. Well, I'll get there eventually. But first, I'm going to give you some examples of the sort of person I'm talking about. This is Manchester's Michael Young. I mean Tony Wilson, not Bob Greaves. He brought us factory records, the Hacienda. He was the man off the telly that your gran knew. He did Granada Reports, After Dark, Up Front. This is Edinburgh's Michael Young. He's Jim Haynes. Opened up the Paperback Bookshop, one of the first alternative bookshops in the country. He set up the Traverse Theatre and helped to make the Edinburgh Fringe Festival what it is today. This is London's Michael Young. It's still Jim Haynes. He moved to London in the mid-60s. He set up Drury Lane Arts Lab and showcased the first joint exhibition by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. He helped to get started the careers of Alan Moore and David Bowie. And here's just a few people in 2021 who are in their own way filling this role in their own areas. There's Gavin in Frome, there's Penny in Sheffield, there's Mark Hooper in Wales, who got the Indie Cube network off the ground. There's Imi in Birmingham from Impact Hub Birmingham, and Munaza, who kickstarted loads of interesting stuff in Harlow. There's Kyle in Camden, who is just one of the nicest people you could ever meet, and he does loads of interesting stuff. So I'm going to ask the question, who's going to fill that role in Liverpool over the next 10 or 15 years? Who's going to be our Jim Haynes or our Tony Wilson? Well, this is nice. So I reckon that it's probably going to be someone watching this right now. I think it could be you. If you ever thought then of writing that book about how everything could be better, do it. If you ever wanted to reopen that little old cinema in that suburb of Liverpool, do it. Be like Tony Wilson and randomly start a record label while you're doing your day job, and then go on to waste everyone's money on a nightclub that no one wants to go to. Or be like Mark Hooper and run a chain of not-for-profit co-working offices at the end of the street where people live to stop them having to commute into town every day. You could be like Gavin Eddy and get pretty much the whole city closed off one day a month, just so you can put a big market on it and have a party. Or you can be like Jim Haynes, open a bookshop, and then a theatre, and then an arts lab, and then an underground newspaper. Start your own university. You can make a really innovative TV show from your bedroom. You could do something like this from your bedroom. Discover the next big pop star that's living in a terraced house in Old Swan. Invent new words like meritocracy. Or open up an acting school for kids. Start a bank just for Liverpool people. Do something new and interesting. I think that the people who are watching this could be cultural capitalists. could do something new for the city, could be Liverpool's version of Michael Young. There's one thing that I'm going to ask you not to do, though. Unlike Michael Young, under no circumstances, please don't have any kids. Just like Michael's son, they may well turn out to be a complete and utter bell end too.
Oh, thanks for that, Patrick. And you finished like just before time as well. I mean, like, excellent. Are we getting? Is this another tour that's starting, or is Dan just there? We go. Dan's got it all sorted. Excellent.